Hey, good morning once again, and glad to have you with us. The Morning Exiles, I'm Kevin Gallagher. He's Bill Profita.
Good morning, everybody. As we continue to look at COVID-19 all over South Louisiana, we are here in the Capitol. Lots going on today, including the legislature has a deadline they must meet. So they are going to cancel all committee meetings, come to the chamber, sit 6 feet apart, do what they need to do today, and then recess again through at least the 13th. And then if they have any other statutory deadlines they must meet, they will come back. There is no provision for them to do like a Zoom meeting or an electronic legislative session.
No.
One of the legislators...
They can vote electronically and via mail, but they've got to have certain meetings there.
There is one legislator that we're particularly concerned about. A good friend of ours, State Representative Ted James, is hospitalized with the coronavirus. We heard about that along with everybody else yesterday afternoon.
Ted is a good friend of ours and a good friend of our program, and we've known him for a good long time. He's a great guy, and we have the best hopes that he'll pull through this thing okay.
Yeah, we certainly do wish him well, and hopefully the news we get down the road is going to be that he is recovering nicely and will soon be released from the hospital.
I've noticed that on a national scale, we're starting to see more of these stories of recovery.
Yes.
Which I think it's good that the media is putting it. Yes, we need to know how many people are dying, but I think it's good that the media is also showing us that there are people who are surviving these things.
Well, and
people who are made of sturdier stuff and are generally in good health are making it through this thing, but they're getting awfully sick.
Well, and they are now looking at if we can get a large enough group of survivors that are free and clear and show no signs, to seeing if they can actually create, I guess you would call this kind of in the immediate short-term term, you'd call it an antidote. It end up being a vaccine is what it really is.
Yeah, they could
from
probably
their blood serum.
Make a pool of antibodies from their blood serum and maybe come up with a viable vaccine. I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah, so anyway, to our buddy Ted, we wish you well. And you know what? I think he's probably not going to be the only member of our legislature that comes up with symptoms and may have to be tested. The Baton Rouge testing site is open again. Baton Rouge General Mid-City is taking medical patients now. You know, that was almost strictly specialty. It was almost strictly cancer, burn, things like that. Now they're taking medical patients. Still no emergency room there, by the way, folks.
Right.
Our Lady of the Lake received a donation of 2,000 face shields from Ford Motor Company in Detroit.
Great idea.
The workers there apparently worked overtime. They make them there, I guess, and drove them down and handed them over to Our Lady of the Lake. So, you know, we are all doing as best we can. I don't know about you, Kevin. I had a lot of people engage me yesterday about this pastor up in Central.
Oh, yeah. I've had a number of people ask me, what do I think?
And I put a post up and I said, I would like someone to tell me with some sort of reasonable authority. Don't guess, don't speculate. Tell me with reasonable authority why law enforcement has not gone to him and issued him the proper summons because he's in violation of the order, and said you cannot have any gatherings more than 30 people, no matter whether it's a church or a barn. It can't be done. And I got not one definitive answer, but I got an awful lot of people that said, well, he should be. We just don't know why he hasn't. And then I started to get some speculation as to why they have not served a summons on him. We'll talk about that when we come back from our first break. On our program today, what happens if you are waiting an organ donation during a time of medical crisis? Kelly Ranum, who is the CEO of LOPA, the Louisiana Organ Procurement Association, will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. And then how stressed out are first responders like EMS here in Baton Rouge getting, and what kind of special precautions have have they taken? Somebody Kevin and I have talked to before. Lieutenant Brad Harris with EBR EMS will be joining us.
And in the latter part of our program, a visit from the president and CEO of the LABI, the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, Stephen Wagasback, will be with us. What is the condition of business? How many businesses are at threat of going out of business during this coronavirus crisis?
So we have got a whole lot more to come your way in just a moment or two. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about this pastor. And we'll have some time for your thoughts, by the way, at 225-831-1029, if you would like to share those with us. In the meantime, this is Exiles TV. We're glad to have you with us on this Tuesday, and we'll have more to come in just a moment. I'm Bill Profita.
I'm Kevin Gallagher.
And we thank you so much for being with us this morning. Stick around.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher. So glad to have you along with us this morning. You know, I wish we didn't have to get into this, Kevin. I wish we didn't have to get into this.
Well, we can grant your wish, but I think we should talk about it because everybody else is.
Well, and there are a lot of questions with this. The governor's order is legal and binding. It is constitutional.
Right.
And it prohibits, in the interest of public health and public safety, large gatherings. Pastor Tony Spell, up in Central, has now 3 times told them, I'm ignoring it, and holding services that have anywhere from 300 to 1,200 people inside his church.
And they're all closer than 6 feet.
And he's also gone for the last one and announced that he was going to do this too. Bust them in from 5 additional parishes. So now we're possibly spreading this contagion to other areas. And
there are parishes to the north of us that don't have any cases yet. So by all means, Tony, let's make that happen. Let's get some cases up there.
But there are people that are mad as hell, and I don't blame them. And they're mad at him for continuing, because this is not a First Amendment issue. This is not a religious freedom issue, because nobody's talking about shutting him down. They're talking about not holding a gathering because of a public health emergency like everybody else. It applies to everyone equally. But people are also angry that everybody says, well, you know, in the last paragraph of that order, there was an enforcement provision, but we don't see any enforcement when it comes to this guy. Now, BRPD was with us. They sat right here and said, yes,
That's a central issue.
if we get a call, we go out and we ask them to disperse, and so far everybody has. The central mayor and the central police chief have not responded to requests to anybody until yesterday when the mayor said, well, we're trying to negotiate with him. When do we negotiate with lawbreakers? When did this happen?
See, here's what I think, Bill, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm way off base, but I think that there's probably some people with some money in his parish. I mean, obviously, you don't build a great big church like that.
Well,
if
he's
the people
one of them
that
with
go to
some
your
money.
church- Well, if you don't build a great big church like that, if the people going to your church and donating to the church don't have a lot of money to donate, somebody's got some deep pockets, which means some influential voters there in Central probably attend the services. So I think there's politics and money. Politics, money.
Well, I don't know about the money part, but
This
politics.
guy doesn't have services, and that collection plate doesn't go around. He doesn't get paid.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, he's got 1,000 people. They're putting in $2 each, $5 each. That's a lot of money still.
Yes.
All right, and they're doing it 3 times a week.
Right.
But the point is, I think they're afraid of this guy, and if they are, Barney ought to turn in his bullet, and the mayor ought to turn in his gavel and get somebody in there who's not.
Well, here's my question. Is this strictly a central and central police issue, or is this...
Sheriff
does this
can go
also,
in.
I was just going to ask, does this not also fall under Sheriff Sid Gotro?
And they would be foolish, by the way, to not ask for assistance from the sheriff's department if they were to go in. But I heard from people yesterday, people in government, okay, that said, oh, they've been meeting about this. They said everything but praying over it. But they've been meeting about this at the highest level, trying to find a way to negotiate with this guy to have, quote unquote, a peaceful solution. We don't want to make him a media star. Too late. He did that for himself.
Yeah.
New York Times, LA Times, CNN, Fox News, Dr. Phil.
MSNBC. You bet. All of them.
And then they said, we don't want to make him a martyr. Let me tell you what, folks.
You're not going to make him a martyr unless you shoot him.
Well, you're not going to make him a martyr either way.
And that ain't going to happen. Right.
And they said, well, if we arrest him, we make him a hero. Are you people even listening to the people that elected you outside of that congregation? Your people want you to arrest him. They want you to do his job. They're calling him a bioterrorist by possibly spreading this all over.
Meanwhile, a counterpart of his in the state of Florida, who also was flouting the self-isolation, he's been arrested.
Pastor Rodney Howard Brown. And very similar. He was busing people in as well. Mm-hmm. And they went to him and they said, warning you, you can't do this. And the sheriff there has got some, as they say, cojones. Mm-hmm. Sheriff there is elected too. Apparently, he thinks doing his duty and following the law is a lot more important than hurting his pastor's feelings. But his name is Chad Chronister. So they came with an arrest warrant, and they hooked up the pastor, and they made sure they took him downtown for booking, and shot a mugshot, which that's now his official portrait in the media.
I think that the Pastor Spell wants someone whose name carries weight to come to him and ask him to shut it down. And then once he's got somebody, the lieutenant governor, the governor, somebody who's somebody, comes and asks him nice, he can say, well, I talked to the authorities, we decided the wisest thing, blah,
Why
blah,
would he?
blah, blah, blah.
Why would he? Have you seen this guy in the close-ups? He's running the show now. He is sticking up both middle fingers at the governor, at the sheriff,
Yeah.
at the mayor of Central,
Yeah.
at the Central Police Department, at the state police. And by the way, I'm told all of them have talked to him, with the exception of the governor. State police has talked to him. He's got both middle fingers in the air. Don't you get it, folks? Not only are you letting this tin horn run you all around the court with his foot in your butt, but over the next 30 days, because it's been extended, what are you going to do about the thousands of people that see this guy, and they don't believe in him, but they see he's gotten away with it being non-compliant. They say, we're not going to comply either. What do you do about them?
All right, quick break. We're going to be right back. This is the Exiles.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher.
I am.
And, you know, there are a lot of things that we worry about when we have a health crisis. It doesn't have to be COVID-19, but that's our current one. And it seems that most of us are worried about, are we going to be able to get toilet paper? Are we going to be able to get hand sanitizer?
But what about, am I going to be able to get a kidney if I need one?
Yeah, if you're on the transplant list now, or even more importantly, if you are a donor, and a great many people are, you know, if God forbid I get into a horrible car accident, my card says I'm a donor. I would like my corneas and kidneys and my heart to go to help someone else if that's possible. So to find out what happens in a time of stress like this, we have with us Lori Steele, who is in communications for Louisiana Organ Procurement Association, better known as LOPA.
Thank you. That was
And
nice.
we're going to abbreviate from this point forward, just because it's a mouthful. But Lori, there are these questions. What happens if you're on the transplant list right now?
Yeah, well, I have a heart on my license too, so I want to save lives if I can. But we know that we're in this pandemic, right? So about a year ago, we opened a donor care center in Covington. So we have 3 operating rooms there. We didn't know that we would need it. Our goal was to take the stress off of the hospitals, which you guys have been covering that. Our hospitals are overloaded. So in order to make life happen, we are able to continue to do that, and we are able to transport patients. We work with the families to be able to make life happen. So that is continuing to happen. We do test for coronavirus, COVID-19. We are able to do that. We get those results back in within 24 hours. If you do test positive, you are not able to be a donor because we have to recover the safest organs possible to transplant because these patients are immunocompromised.
Okay, I'm sorry if I'm getting a little grim, but if someone has already expired and they are an organ donor, do you then posthumously test them to see if you can harvest the organ?
So if they are not tested through the hospital,
Right.
and we think that they are a great potential candidate, then we test ourselves and we get those results. So we have a small window to make life happen, and so with our cases so far, we are able to do that. Now donations are down, but donations continue, so we are able to make life happen here in the state of Louisiana.
Tell me about this donor care center. It is a standalone. I didn't know it existed until you and I talked.
Yeah.
And so you can basically take the stress off the hospital from harvesting the organ and from doing the transplant, and how much of the recovery care happens. Take me from the front door all the way out on this.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, our leadership team at LOPA, they were seeing this trend when we have a flood or a hurricane. We know that here in Louisiana. Our hospitals become stressed. So how can we take that stress out? Because if we do a recovery in the hospital, then we have to take up an operating room. So we want to take that stress off. So we built this donor care facility, which is in Covington. We have 3 rooms. We can do one for organ recovery, one for tissue recovery, and one for either. And so we're able to move those patients there. We're able to take the stress off of the hospitals. We're able to use our own PPE. There's no traffic flow, so it's very sanitized. And we have everything that we need. We're able to do those tests that we need, and it's one of 10 in the country. So it's state of the art, and we're able to make life happen.
Is this something that you folks would foresee will need to be duplicated or triplicated in other cities, or maybe even expanded where you are now?
Yeah, well, it seems to be that's the talk. So our CEO of LOPA, she is the president of the AOPO, another acronym for you, the Association of Organ Procurement Organizations. So there is a lot of talk about the need to do this as hospitals become overwhelmed. What happens in order to continue to help these families that become our family?
Let me ask you, because I want to get back to some of this gee whiz stuff, but it's so funny. I had to go and get a blood test. I take cholesterol medication.
Okay.
And they want to test you every year or so to make sure that you're not having a liver reaction, from taking that. And the young lady who was my phlebotomist took my driver's license to ID me properly. And she said, "What's that heart mean?" I said, "It means I'm an organ donor." And she got nervous. I said,
Yeah.
"What's the matter?"
Yeah.
She said, "I have that on my license, and I don't want to be an organ donor." Oops. How do I get it off my license? And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't work for DMV. I have no idea, but I would start there." But are we seeing more people that want to be donors now? Has it plateaued? Are we seeing, and I hate to say it this way, a younger generation that, the beautiful science of saving lives through organ donation, they don't see that anymore like we used to.
Right.
It made television news every time somebody got a transplant.
So we're focusing on education here in Louisiana because that is key. If you know a little bit about it, then you're not going to be as scared about it. I have a heart on my license because back in 1997, a girl that I played ball with, her brother was hopping into the back of a pickup truck. His heel slipped, he fell, and he hit his head on the pavement.
Oh, boy.
So you call 911, and then what do? And then he was declared brain dead. Well, what is that? What is that? So back then you didn't talk about it as often as you do now. And that mama was so strong, and she said, "How are people going to remember my baby?" And I just remember that so clearly because he was so young. Like, what impact? How will people remember him? And so he was an organ donor, and he saved 5 lives. and we still talk about Justin today. So it was his legacy. So here in Louisiana, we use those stories, we use those testimonies. We've teamed with the LSU Manship School of Mass Communication. There are some PR students that are working virtually for us right now. They're going to be watching this program to pull information, and we're doing a social media campaign to keep our social distance, but to keep spreading hope and not germs, and hopefully keep making life happen.
It would seem to me there's so many ways to go about this. There's altruistic. You can be a hero. Your donation can save 5 lives, as you just said, or more. Sometimes.
8, yes.
But to me, it just makes sense. It's like, I'm not going to need them for anything.
Yeah.
Why not? If there's anything useful, take it. I'm going to be cremated, so it doesn't matter to me. Grab whatever you want, and make good use of it.
Well, and
save someone's life.
There are some people who have a kind of a religious proscription, when it comes to
violating the temple of God, blah, blah,
exactly.
blah.
But it's not a big enough
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that blah, blah, blah in a condescending way. I'm just trying to save time.
Yeah, it's not a big enough percentage to where it really matters in the overall pool of people who will donate organs. And it's true that you can choose to only donate so many organs. If you have a thing about your eyes, you don't have to donate corneas. You can say, just my kidney.
And that's why it's important. We say you can have that heart on your license, but you have to talk to your next of kin, because that's who we'll talk to, especially in this COVID crisis. Have you traveled? Have you been around someone who's been exposed? And those types of things are what we want to know. But a good thing is, here in Louisiana, there's about 2.5 million people who have said yes to organ, tissue, and eye donation, who have that heart on their license. That's because we partner with the hospitals, we partner with the OMVs, and people are saying yes because we are pushing education and fact.
Now, you mentioned that, like everyone else during this time, resources are getting tight. Money's getting tight. How can people help, especially those who have, how can I put this, deeper pockets than some of us?
Yeah, so we now have a LOPA donor foundation, so folks that want to help can do that, but it doesn't cost families for donation, and we work with those families each and every day. So our ask is that you talk about donation. It could be 10 seconds. Do you have a heart?
No, yeah.
Why or why not? Because if something were to happen to you, the greatest gift is to give someone the gift of life.
Well, and we've got a phone number back in our control room that we will put up, and also a URL, so you can kind of see where you can go. But there's only one LOPA, only one LOPA.
Right.
What is it, lopa.org or lopa.com?
LOPA.org.
Org.
Yes, sir.
LOPA.org.
So usually not-for-profit.
Yeah, there's a number up on your screen right now, folks, where you can call to get information. Also, if you'd like to give. Now, I know people get confused. Do they come to you to sign up as organ donors? Is that something that they have to do with DMV on their driver's license?
So because of technology, most people, about 98% of our population, will sign up at the OMV. So you go to change your address, or you get married, you change your name. They're going to ask you, do you want to be an organ donor? We hope that you say yes. Now you can go online, lopa.org. You can make a phone call. We have donor drives on campus, at schools, everywhere. So we try to make it as easy as possible. It takes less than 2 minutes, and we just want you to make that commitment and talk to your family. Do you want to be an organ donor? Do you want to have a legacy? This is the way to do that.
Your donor care center, this 3-bed freestanding state-of-the-art unit, does this quicken the recovery time for the donors who come in? Does it make it a little easier because that's all you do? And you only do like 3 or 4 at a time, and off they go. Does it get them out back into their lives quicker?
Well, and we've been championing all the healthcare workers, right, that are working in all these hospitals. Our team at LOPA is doing the same. So once we work with that family, we go at their pace, but know that it is time-wise, because we only have 4 to 6 hours to recover that heart and place it into someone who could use it, who's gravely ill. So we do think that we are at the top of our game when it comes to that, and we're going to continue to work on that.
Real quickly, because we've only got about a minute and a half left, but I would think that for your living donors, the people that say, I have two kidneys, I'm going to give one to Kevin.
Yeah.
That this is probably a more comfortable environment than the hospital.
Yeah, and so for LOPA, we deal with deceased donors, but our volunteers are living donors. We have a lady who needed a kidney. This gentleman gave her one, and then they got married. Doesn't happen all the time, but it is continuing to happen even during this pandemic.
Well, it's lopa.org, and help out if you can, but find out more about how you can become an organ donor. And just think about it, like I said, you don't have any use for it if you passed away. So someone else could make excellent use of it. lopa.org.
And again, even though we are in the middle of a nationwide health crisis, there are people that can still donate.
Yes.
Their organs can be taken care of properly so that they can go into a donor, and that I would assume we're getting to the donors as quickly as we can.
Yes.
Lori Steele with LOPA, Louisiana Organ Procurement Association. See, I did it right this time. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Lori.
Good luck to you with this great donor care center.
Yeah.
We're going to have more coming up on Exiles TV, but first it's time to take this little break so we can stretch our legs and things. Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher, I guess you know who you are. We'll be back with you in just a moment on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I've seen a lot of things during my life. More bad things than good. I've lived in a lot of places, but never a home. I don't think anybody cares about me anymore. And now, I'm tired. Signed, Brian, age 11.
Abused and neglected children in East Baton Rouge Parish are in dire need of CASA volunteers. Please call 379-8598 today. Change a life of hurt into a life of hope.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Looked up to the skies, I see the
Hey, we're back. It's Exiles TV. He's Bill. I'm Kevin. I want to thank Lori Steele from the Louisiana-Oregon Procurement Association, LOPA. She gave us these nice little LOPA hand sanitizers. Real nice.
This is like gold.
Yeah.
If she'd had them wrapped in toilet paper.
You know what my first thought about this is? It won't last me long enough. Because I guarantee I'm going to have to stop at the grocery store. The last time I was at the grocery store, I sanitized my hands 3 times.
I have one of these in my car. And Karen has one in her car. And actually, you get a lot more squirts than you know. Making life happen, by the way, is there slow? If you don't mind, I'm going to do this.
You going to sanitize your hands?
I actually, on the way over here this morning, I'm getting a lot of information on COVID and what's being done from this COVID-19 channel that they've set up on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
And these docs from NYU Langone handle things very nicely, and they've got a good sense of humor. And they had a physician who was an ear, nose, and throat guy, and because of infections that are opportunistic around ear, nose, and throat, they talked to him about sanitizing and things. He said, all right, look. He said, the 20-second hand wash is absolutely perfect. He said, use water as hot as you can stand, but the reason you do 20 minutes is because the surfactant...
20 seconds.
Yeah, 20 seconds. In the soap, that's about the right time to know that you're safe, that it's cut through that outer layer and kill the virus.
What about hand sanitizer?
See, he got it in. He said, all right, look. And this is radio, but you could hear him squirting it. He was squirting in the studio. The other doctors were laughing at him. But he said, what you got to do is you got to hit like enough squirts on your hand. 1, 2, 3, okay? 3 squirts so that it lasts about 8 or 9 seconds on your hand like this. So it's not dry yet. It's not dry yet. It's not, and now it's dry. He said that because...
So keep working the material into the hand until
8 or 9
your hand
seconds.
is dry.
Yeah. And he said, don't just use a little tiny squirt because you're trying to save it. He said, make your hands wet with it. I didn't know this either. This doesn't work the same way that soap does.
Yeah, and what about liquid hand sanitizers?
Liquid hand sanitizers works like this. It's the alcohol. The alcohol kills the interior of the virus.
I see.
The soap, if you really hate this virus, the soap kills its protective coating of fat, which makes it die a painful death. This is kind of like
coronavirus can die screaming.
Yeah, this is kind of like shooting it in the head.
Yeah.
So
die.
And thank you, Lori, for these. But I mean, these things, you don't think about it, but they're now pretty sure that if somebody just coughed into their hand or wiped their mouth and they've got coronavirus, and they touch that gas pump, which is coated in plastic, that rubberized thing, that's not really porous. So that virus will be there for at least 3 hours. And now they're saying, look, been a couple weeks now, you're going to need to fill up on gas, even though you haven't been traveling as much. Either wear gloves or keep one of these and spray the pump, or better yet, spray your hands afterward.
Thanks for that, because I have to get gas when I leave here.
Yeah, if you can find these, folks, keep one of these in your car. It's real handy.
By way of information here for you, and these numbers are from noon yesterday, we can assume that they're probably a little bit higher, but in the state of Louisiana, 4,025 confirmed cases of coronavirus, positive users, or positive people diagnosed with coronavirus. Our death toll has reached 185 statewide, with, of course, the majority of those are in Orleans Parish.
Now,
we have, by the way, coronavirus in 59 of 64 parishes.
Yeah, and fortunately, it's taken a pretty long time to get to that many parishes. I think that there's a slight possibility that in East Baton Rouge, we are flattening the curve a little bit. I don't think it's happening in New Orleans.
So now it's a data model. So can you trust data models? No, you can't trust data models, but data models are right-ish more often than they're just dead wrong. There's a data model that says we should reach our peak in East Baton Rouge Parish and in the state of Louisiana in about 8 to 10 days. We should reach the peak infection wave, if you will, of coronavirus. Does that mean it's over? Of course not. But just know that within the next 10 days, we should be getting to about the peak infection potential.
Well, and the problem is we want to make sure that people are not saying, okay, the worst of it's over, so, I can go and see old Aunt Tilly, no, just wait. Wait until that curve is completely flat.
I have no idea how many people under the age of, say, 27, 28, 29 years of age we have out there. Millennials is what I'm talking to. But good God, stay away from your older relatives. Just especially if you went to spring break or if you were at the Prop Stop last weekend. They had to break that up. Prop Stop is a bar on the Tick-Far River.
Yeah, let me talk about that in a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, because that's another one. It's like Reverend Spell and his church. It's like some people just, we ask you to stay home. We ask you if you have to go out, please stay 6 feet away from people. So of course we're all going to jump in our boats and go to a closed bar on the river and trespass on their pier. But
yeah.
Just not smart. So if that was you, if you're one of these groups, stay away from people.
And yesterday, one of the people that reached out to me that was very outraged about this church in Central also threw in the Prop Stop, which is in Ascension Parish, by the way. And I had a very nice exchange with the lady who owns the prop shop. And I knew this, but I didn't know if the people that were taking part in this dialogue online knew this. The Prop Stop was closed and complied with the order.
Oh, yeah.
And they also posted closed signs on their dock saying that you cannot even use our dock. This is not a public dock. It is our dock. And these people pulled up anyway and tied up to the dock and then tied their boats to each other. And we're in very close proximity. And this lady is saying, people are, sending me all kinds of how dare you messages. She said, we were doing everything right. And they were. So I want to make sure you know the people at the Prop Stop were in compliance. They have now posted additional no trespassing signs on their dock.
But you know what? Probably a lot of those people were regular customers and thought, well, they won't mind. It's us. We're regulars. We come here all the time. They won't mind.
And that's the thing I worry so much about. That's why the hesitance of law enforcement to go and do their job with Reverend Spell. We breed that in South Louisiana. Oh, hell, that don't apply to me. That's for other people. That's not me.
Yep.
I'm okay.
It's funny you've got a Facebook thread about some of these old cliches and truisms and things like that. I knew this woman once that used to say, "Yeah, but that's me." And that was like words that she lived by. Yeah, but that's me. In other words, you're not supposed to park in the fire lane at Albertsons when you go in to grab a few groceries. Yeah, but that's me. It's okay because it's me. I've never understood that sense of entitlement with people. It's like it's okay because it's you.
And I think that a lot of us, we get all worried about what's written on the page or the letter of the law or what I can't get during my shopping today. And I don't think we go into the psychology of those whose activities can really hurt us. And you see, Reverend Spell is not one of these that thinks, oh, that doesn't apply to me. Reverend Spell is using this to consolidate his power and his stranglehold over the people in his congregation. This is psychological warfare on people who feel a bit weakened anyway by what's happening in life. They feel that they need someone to take their orders from, and his defiance is his way of telling them, those people who have been wrong to you all your life, those people who wrote your tickets or who took away your kids or who sided with that awful guy you were married to in your divorce, they're not in charge.
Voted for Hillary.
They're not in charge. God's in charge, and I'm his oracle for you.
Well, and I also have read, I don't know if it's true, but I have read that this pastor and the one in Florida suggested that God's will and God's power would protect those people from the coronavirus. And the coronavirus itself is God's creation. So, how much can you expect God to protect you from nature? I don't know.
Well, I just think that I have never, ever, ever seen a population, and I've been in an awful lot of big places, and I've lived elsewhere. I've never, ever seen a population that thinks it's the 10 suggestions, not the 10 commandments. That speeding signs are like a menu that you can decide to alter. That no parking tow-away zone doesn't apply to them. That don't you know who I am. I have never seen anything like South Louisiana.
I've only had a couple. I'm fine to drive. You know, that kind of mentality.
And by the way,
but that's me.
The worst grade in the entire state for coronavirus prevention is St. Mary Parish.
Wow.
Home of Moron City.
Now, that's not very nice.
Everybody
we have viewers in St. Mary.
They know that everybody there says, that don't apply to me.
More coming up. Exiles TV on the way right after this. You stay
Sorry,
there,
Morgan
please.
City. Sorry.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. Bill Profita, Kevin Gallagher, and you as we look at things that are happening all around South Louisiana with coronavirus. And this is, the governor extended another 30 days, which seems to be what everybody around the country is doing. I can't believe that D.C. put their first stay-at-home order into place just yesterday.
The District of Columbia?
Yeah.
Really?
And they did it because Maryland and Virginia had been doing it metro area by metro area, and finally they just said whole state.
Wow.
And so since they're surrounded by Maryland and Virginia, that's the way they went with it.
You know, it's how's the staying at home been for you, Bill? I mean, I see your Facebook posts. It looks to me like you and Karen are having a wonderful time.
We're trying to put the best face on it.
Uh-huh.
We hear about people that we know or knew at one time that are having fevers and they're going to get tested or have tested. A former employee of Karen's who was also a star athlete at LSU, Orlando McDaniel.
Mm-hmm.
His death was reported this weekend.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And she and everybody at the Audubon Society all over the nation are under a work-at-home order, which means even their field scientists, who normally are out in the field, have to do what they can from their homes. All of their offices are closed, like a great many other businesses and nonprofits and all that. And I think that weighs on her. As for me, I have had to be a lot more organized in my life. It isn't, I forgot the cheese for this pasta. I'm just going to run back out and get it.
You're actually making a shopping list now, aren't you?
Well, and I'm staying home for stretches of days at a time, like you're supposed to. Now, we do in the afternoon, we have our backyard time with our baby owls, and we have a little cocktail on the patio, and sometime other people from the neighborhood will come by to watch owls with us, but we stay 6 feet apart. They bring their own booze, and I think more of this is going to, for people like me, I don't know about you, make more worry. What about you?
For my part, it hasn't really changed a lot. I mean, I'm not going out as much just for the hell of it like you. I'm having to make a list and check it twice and make that trip to the store count. Like, for instance, our podcast. We do a podcast on Facebook Live and on YouTube. And we do that on Wednesdays and Fridays, and we do that under secluded conditions and maintain distance, etc. And we're trying to be safe with it. But from the podcast until this morning to come do this program, didn't leave the house. That was the balance of Friday and Saturday, Sunday, and all day Monday before leaving the house. Thank God for Netflix and Amazon Prime. That's all I've got to say.
Well, I'm not so sure that we couldn't all use a little more fear factor. I don't want to get hysterical, but truthfully, when I saw on the news last night that our buddy Ted James has tested positive and is hospitalized, well, I ran into Ted at a store before this stay-at-home order.
Did you hug him?
Yeah, of course I hugged him.
Yeah.
And I was trying to
just inch my chair a little bit further away.
Well, I was trying to count the days, and I finally figured it out from a receipt, because my pockets are full of receipts. I'm like Captain Kangaroo. And it was like 26 days ago.
Oh, well, come on.
But, I mean, it really got me thinking. It really did.
Yeah, and that's, by the way, that's what I miss during this thing, is I'm a hugger. If I love you and I haven't seen you in a while, I'm going to want to throw my arm around your neck, give you a hug, male or female, I don't care.
Yeah.
And now it's like the elbow bump is becoming the...
Oh, now we got the high five, air five.
Yeah, just, we'll just pantomime a high five at you.
That's what all the kids are doing these days, Kevin.
Don't leave me hanging. But I look forward to the days when I can grab my... Because there's a lot of people I hold in high esteem, and I don't get to see them often enough. And when I do, I want to let them know, that how much I've missed them.
Well, and then there's the provisioning thing. We all, and I think some of us knew that it was going to be a moving target, but when they put the order and they said until April 13th, we were compliant. We went to the grocery store. We planned meals, and we got enough stuff in the freezer and in the fridge that would easily carry us to April 13th. And then we said, we got to help our restaurants, so we've been doing some takeout. So maybe...
Been doing as much as we can afford on takeout.
Maybe April 16 now. But now we're going to have to go plan one of these big shopping trips again.
Because you're probably going to get I'm expecting any day now for Governor Edwards to extend stay-at-home till April 30th.
He has.
He already has.
It has happened, yes.
See, there pays to be me, doesn't it?
It happened late yesterday,
and then when we're getting closer to the end of April, I'm expecting it to go for May 15th.
Well, and that really kind of brings us full circle to what's happening with the non-compliant. And I have had people yesterday when I got involved in this discussion, I started getting phone calls from people who knew my phone number, and they said, we're glad you're talking about this. And I said, well, we're going to be talking about it more. I said, we'll be talking about it with Kevin. And I said, but I don't want to become a broken phonograph record on this. And they said, you're wrong. You're going to have to keep saying it and keep saying it, because there are going to be people that see the non-action by governmental authorities that is so blatant, daring them to come and enforce their own law, that it's going to throw off a whole lot more people that are going to be deliberately non-compliant all over this area. And I fear that these people are telling me the truth.
Question I have in my mind, that I was actually talking about it with Mary Ann: how many more days before huge amounts of us just decide, screw it, I'm going out, I don't care? How many more days?
Where are you going to go?
Well, that's a fair question, but I mean, the prop stop is a good example. There's always some place to go. A bunch of us are going to hang out in the Breck Park and drink beer or whatever. Sure, you run the chance of getting run off, but hardly likely anybody's going to get arrested, or will they?
Well, if you're gathering in a big bunch, you probably will get a summons and told to disperse. But we passed the nice Breck Park at Olympia on Kenilworth Drive the other day, just to see. We had to go pick up a prescription, and we passed by there, and there were people out there in the park, and they were keeping their distance, and so everything was cool. And in fact, there was a cop parked there, which is normal because people have a tendency to speed on Kenilworth. But now all the playground stuff is all wrapped in tape so that kids can't
discourage the kids from getting on it.
Well, because they're going to
leaving stuff on it, picking stuff off. Okay. Kids are filthy.
Things that kids do. Yeah. But we were laughing. We've never seen so many dads out with their young kids in our neighborhood as we have over this past 10-day period.
Oh yeah. I've seen the dads out teaching them how to ride a bike.
We've seen that,
just for a walk, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people are starting, in Shenandoah, my neighborhood, are starting to appreciate the walk.
Yeah.
And enjoy it, because, I mean, it's going to start getting warmer where you may not want to take that walk if it gets too late in the day.
Well, and we need the walk because, I don't know about you, but I'm eating more at home.
I'm eating junk.
Well, I'm eating fun stuff and serious stuff, but I'm having a little more wine than I normally do.
We've managed to not pick up. Now, over the weekend, we had a bottle of red, and on Friday night we did a bottle of sparkling wine. But I do fear that if this goes on much longer, it's going to be, because I probably got 25 bottles of wine stockpiled in my house, and it's like, because I have people that love me and they know I love wine, and they give me wine for gifts, and it's like, I probably got a dozen bottles of wine at Christmas, and I haven't opened a single one yet.
May not be enough.
But
enough.
I'm worried that if we start opening a bottle of wine every night, that I'm gonna be a big tub of goo before you know, a bigger tub of goo.
One of our regular participants in our podcast, and I think probably also now a viewer, Thomas, was looking at the pictures. He said, "I see wine in every one of your pictures." He said, "It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. I see wine." He said, "How well stocked is your wine cellar?" And
you literally have a wine cellar.
I had to actually go count. He made me think.
Uh-oh. Let's hear it.
Do you really want to hear it?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
274 reds racked.
Reds, 274 reds.
About 40 whites in a special cooled racking area. And a case of bubbly. And you can tell by the whites and the bubbly that we drink that a lot more than the reds.
You'll never be able to drink that much wine in your remaining lifetime, Bill.
Well, we'll see. More to come.
So put me on the donor list. Top of the hour.
Bellello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hey, welcome in. Hour 2, Morning Exiles. I'm Kevin, he's Bill. And what shall we talk about this hour, Bill?
Well, we're going to find out in this hour what it's like for emergency responders, particularly EMS. We talked with East Baton Rouge Parish EMS during our podcast last week, and we brought them back for the TV show because the information they have is extremely important. But they have devised some specialized ways to deal with not just COVID-19, but suspicion of COVID-19 to try to help keep not only us safe, but also to make sure that they don't have to quarantine a lot of employees during all this. Lieutenant Brad Harris with EMS will be joining us
and also
in a matter of a few minutes.
I beg your pardon. Also coming up later on in the hour, we're going to talk with Stephen Wagisback, who's president and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, the LABI. Some people call them LABI still. But business, I'm concerned. I'm concerned how many businesses, small businesses, will be able to survive this thing.
Well, you know, that's it. We've got a lot of small businesses that we interact with. We do our podcast most days from La Divina Italian Cafe,
which is a great place to dine.
And you know, I'm wondering if this goes on too terribly much longer without SBA or the stimulus package getting into people's bank accounts soon, how long a lot of small businesses are going to be able to hang on.
And are those SBA loans going to be coming soon enough to help people hang on?
What this clown representative from Kentucky, the guy they are now calling the most hated man in Washington, that basically hung up the vote on the stimulus package because I was just following the Constitution. I wanted to make sure that we didn't transfer this money, this much money, without a voice vote. So he let everybody know he's going to do this, and so a lot of the congressmen who were staying at home and quarantining themselves came in to make sure there was a quorum. And then whoever was presiding that day, because you know the speaker doesn't always preside.
No, there's a pro tem.
Basically said, "Shall we do this by acclamation?" He said, "You can't, you can't." He said, "Yes, we can. Go back to Kentucky and be quiet." But why do we have these people in our society that always want to throw a wrench, particularly in a time of crisis? Why do we have them?
They think that they're standing up for your constitutional rights. They have some kind of a twisted sense that See, these are the same people that believe that this whole thing is a huge conspiracy, Bill. This whole thing is a conspiracy to make Donald Trump look bad, and so he'll lose the election. And,
ask Joe Biden if he thinks that's true right now.
1,000, how many people dead across the USA now of this virus? And it's all just a big conspiracy.
But, this guy is not a dummy. He's not some rube. He's a master's degree engineer from MIT. But he lives...
plenty of people with some advanced degrees that were pretty stupid.
And engineers, too. Engineers.
Yeah.
Engineers. And he lives off the grid in the woods, deep in Kentucky, in a shack that he built for himself that is totally solar powered.
Is he making squeeze on the back porch in his spare time?
Well, but this guy obviously thinks he should be running the world. And I just don't understand that. I don't understand these preachers, like the guy in Tampa who got arrested, the guy here who should be arrested and hasn't been arrested.
Yeah.
And the people who support them.
The freaks come out at night, Bill, and the nuts come out when things are adverse.
But
I mean, the nuts come out of the woodwork when things get tough.
I just wanted to make sure that I protected the Constitution. Really? You think anybody's seeing it that way? You think anybody's reading it that way?
No.
But it's like, she just died within the last 20 years, I think. She's been around forever. Margaret Chase Smith.
Yes.
Senator from Maine.
Mm-hmm.
She was the only one, after the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, that would not vote in favor of the declaration of war. And when she was asked why, she said, well, I can't support, my belief system does not support the making of war.
It's not about you, it's about your constituents. You represent people.
Yeah, but now wait a minute. You knew that could be part of the job when you ran for the office.
Mm-hmm. That's what I would say to all these lawmakers. It's not about you. It's like when Mitt Romney was doing his shenanigans. So I can't do this. Did you talk to any of your constituents and see what they wanted, Mitt? Or did you just act unilaterally based on your own gut?
Are the governmental entities talking to their constituents who want this guy not just arrested? A lot of them would like to see him jailed.
Yeah.
Are they talking to them? They're afraid it's going to cost them politically. No, they're going to be heroes if they arrest him.
Coming up next, EMS. How are they handling this crisis? We're going to talk about it with Brad Harris. Coming up next on The Exiles. Stay right there.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling. Cold and hungry like a dog in
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back. Along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together. South Louisiana's talk team. And it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Back to Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher. Thank you for being with us on this Tuesday as we continue to talk about COVID-19 in Louisiana, particularly our little corner of southeast Louisiana. I know that you can see us and hear us from west of Lafayette all the way to the Mississippi border, both north and east, largely on Cox cable systems.
Cox New Orleans, Cox Slidell, Cox Baton Rouge. We've also got AT&T Uverse. We've got
Allen Cable in a couple areas.
There's 2 or 3 other cable companies, which I'm going to not be able to repeat to you because I just don't remember.
You can stream us. You can stream us live at pelicansportstv.com, or you can get the app. In the Apple App Store, it's pretty easy. I
downloaded it. It took me about 2 seconds.
Yeah, me too. Some folks that have Android, there's a workaround they have to do. I don't have Android. I have no experience with that, so I don't know. But anyway, the people that are out there that we like to call first responders who are on the front lines, they have a whole different set of safety parameters that they have to deal with to keep themselves safe, because after all, if they all get sick, who's going to take care of you and I? With us is Lieutenant Brad Harris. He is with EBR EMS. And Brad, how's it going for EMS here? How are we keeping up with things?
Well, we've been busy as usual. We have always been busy. COVID just adds another dynamic to the situation. You had mentioned before that we have 2 specialized units now. We call COVID units. That is a pandemic response team unit. So we've taken 2 of our ambulances where the walk-through cabin is between the cab and the back of the truck. We've sealed those off, and we've put plastic sheeting to isolate the unit from any kind of contamination. The medics that are on those units actually wear full isolation suits with gown, goggles, mask, and everything like that.
Now, do you roll these when you're fairly certain? You certainly can't roll these for everybody.
Correct. So we just have the 2 units. The 911 operators, if you call 911, they're going to ask you some screening questions. Do you have a fever? Have you been in contact with anybody that you know has COVID? Do you have any of the symptoms? If you check off enough of the right boxes, they're going to dispatch that unit. Some people fall through the cracks. We have had some people that have called 911 and they went through the screening process and then turned out we thought they were negative, but then they were positive. So you cannot rule everybody out. So all of the ambulances have their correct protective equipment on them. These specialized units are for ones that we know for sure probably have it.
Now, you mentioned it's busy, and you said it's always busy, and we know that from reading the headlines. Somebody gets shot, somebody gets stabbed, so, there's accidents. Have you noticed it picking up any with the cabin fever type feeling setting in with people?
I personally haven't seen that too much. I think people are doing a really good job of staying quarantined, staying inside your house. That sort of thing. We would like to stress is to tell people if you have fever-like symptoms, if you have flu-like symptoms, don't call 911 for that. It's what we consider a non-emergency. Now, if you have severe respiratory distress, if you're having someone that's unresponsive, that just cannot breathe, then absolutely call us. That is an emergency. The state has the 211 call line that you can call. If you do not have a doctor, you can call out to them and they'll get you one. If you do have a doctor, contact your doctor personally, tell them that you have these symptoms, and then they can get you tested and have you self-treat from home.
Well, one of the things that I've always worried about, but this makes it even more. A lot of folks, because they don't know better, or they're uninsured or underinsured, or they don't have a relationship with a physician, we're basically using 911 and ambulance service as kind of a taxi service, or to be able to skip to the front of the line at the emergency room.
Yep, I'm here to tell you that that's not going to happen. They have a triage system, just as we have a triage system as well. So if you call 911 and you say, look, I'm having a fever, I'm having flu symptoms, we might not even transport you. We can actually call a physician, get orders to leave you there at your residence.
Now, if I understood this correctly, just to make sure that we're using our resources properly and to kind of discourage the taxi cab mentality, you might not even see an ambulance in your driveway if you call and you say, I think I've got coronavirus.
Yeah, we have what we call sprint units. So that's basically just like a pickup truck that will come out with the supervisor. They will screen you personally, and if they feel that you do not need to go to the hospital, they're not even going to call the ambulance out. So that's the case there.
Wow. But still, somebody had to take the time to go to that home.
Absolutely.
And make that pronunciation.
You know, you men and women, it's in the core of your DNA. You want to help.
Sure.
You see somebody go down or somebody looks bad, you want to put hands on them right away.
Correct.
You want to help them. How are you all doing with maintaining social distance and things like that?
Yeah, so we have what's called the front porch technique. So if I show up to your residence, I might not even go into your residence. I might sit at the door, have you come to the door at a safe distance. I'll assess you from there. You can tell a lot just by looking at somebody. You're looking at their skin color, if they're sweating, if they look like they're having a hard time breathing. So just looking at a patient from a distance without laying hands, I can kind of get a little bit of a ballpark picture of what's going on. And then if we need to gown up, isolate ourselves, then we'll do that before we enter the residence.
Stay right here. I'm coming right back.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand
exactly.
that.
What do you do now? I know you wear gloves, you wear masks. It's like, what do you do with a patient if you think that they're a high risk of infecting you?
Correct. So we would put the surgical mask on the patient, and then we would wear the N95 mask. The big difference there is the N95 mask protects the rescuer from breathing anything in. Surgical mask protects the rescuer by not letting any particles out from the patient.
Yeah, it's a short-term barrier until you get them there.
Correct.
I want to talk a little bit more with you about response times and what needs to be done by the public to help you all do your jobs. But we have to take a break. We are visiting with Lieutenant Brad Harris. He is a paramedic supervisor with East Baton Rouge Parish EMS, talking about what it's like for first responders right now and how they're dealing with things. We will be back with more in just a brief moment. You're watching Exiles TV. So glad to have you with us.
Thank
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
The Exiles on your TV. I'm Kevin, he's Bill, and if you're just joining us, we're talking about what's it like to be EMS, emergency medical, first responders, working during this crisis where people are getting infected and some people are passing away. It's sad. We have over 4,000 cases confirmed in Louisiana, and I think the last thing was 195 have passed away. Yeah, that's correct. 195 as of yesterday. Lieutenant Brad Harris with EMS is with us. Let's talk a little about the equipment, the main things that you use to protect yourselves. Do you have enough gloves, enough masks? Are you well suited?
Yeah, we do actually. Our department was very proactive whenever this kind of started coming on the forefront. We went ahead and ordered extra supplies. So we have months worth of the masks. We have plenty of the isolation suits. We have all the disinfectant cleaners that we need. So you got to think about every time we run a call on a patient, that unit has to be out of service for several minutes afterwards just so we can decontaminate the trucks. So when we have these extra calls of these COVID patients, we do a little bit more deep cleaning than we would. Normally you wipe everything down, you Lysol it, and you're done. But now we actually are going into more of a deep clean.
Mm-hmm. Do some of these spray units that use a cleaning solution that's got some bleach in them, and I think they use some steam. I think they heat them a little bit.
Right.
Do those work any better than just wiping it down?
I would imagine that it would. I don't know exactly, but I think that the steam cleaning would do a better job.
Now, what about the public? When you see somebody out in public, you know, you guys got to eat, so you stop at the grocery store.
Correct.
You don't wear a mask and gloves when you go in the grocery store.
I do not. It's only at work.
But you see people shopping at the grocery store wearing gloves and masks.
Correct.
Are we backing up when we do that? Is it a good idea? Are we misusing the equipment? Or?
So I've seen lots of people out in public wearing gloves at the grocery store, driving their own vehicles, things like that. So the thing that you have to remember and know about gloves is it's a single-use item. So if I go touch something with my gloves, I should take those off afterward, put on a new set of gloves. I've seen people in the grocery store, they touch the basket, they grab for groceries off the shelf, then they turn around and at the checkout and they dig in their purse with the same gloves. If they're wearing glasses, I've seen a lady that she pushed her glasses up with her gloved hand. You should never, ever touch your face with your hands. The gloves, so basically COVID works by droplets. Mm-hmm. It gets into your mucous membranes, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. So if you have gloves on, that's not really protecting you per se, unless you have like a cut or a laceration on your hand. I can see where maybe you might want to wear a glove to cover that up. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to be in the process of wearing gloves all day long, you'd have to go through several gloves. There's calls that we run in EMS where I might change my gloves 5-6 times just on one patient, one call. If I touch something that I think might be contaminated, I take them off. I've touched the patient, I take those off. So I'm constantly changing my gloves, but I've bared witness to people that have worn gloves all day long.
My thing at the grocery store, the last couple times I've went there, is a lot of stores have disinfectant wipes there to wipe down your basket. What I've been doing is wiping down the basket, of course, on the way in, but last thing I do before I leave is grab one of those things, and as I'm walking to the car, I'm pushing that basket with my thigh and wiping down good, and then in the garbage it goes. Is that a good practice, or?
Absolutely, that's a great practice. Same thing as if you go into a restroom, you never want to touch the door handle. You always want to use a paper towel, or whenever you turn off the knobs, use the paper towel. So it's the same kind of thought process there.
I know of a business that is in food prep, and they have put kick plates on all their restroom doors.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to touch a door handle at all. You can just
kick it.
Just give it a kick and out you go.
Yeah.
That's something I've been doing with years. I am the absolute best foot flusher in the entire world. I've been practicing that my entire life.
So if you go in behind him, you got to know that he has kicked that thing with his foot. So you might not want to touch it.
Yeah, my dirty hands have not touched it.
Correct.
But your dirty shoe has.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Just use your shoe.
So talking about the gloves, now also the masks. It's not a very bad idea to wear a mask if you're sick. Wear the surgical mask because if you cough, if you sneeze, that's going to protect all that droplets from coming out. But if you're a well person and you're not sick, there's really no need to wear a mask unless you have the N95 respirator. Or if you have the heavy-duty plastic sealed one with the charcoal filters, that's another one. Those are hard to find, though, for the public.
At the hardware store, you can get paper masks. Most people buy them when they're painting. Are these any protection at all for me or for other people?
A little bit. I mean, you got to think about the size of a droplet and the size of the mask. So if you have a screen door and you throw water through it,
Still going to get wet.
You're still going to get wet. So it's the same kind of technique there.
Well, and you know, this is to protect you when you're painting from paint droplets, which are pretty large and pretty viscous. You know, aerosolized germs, a lot smaller than that.
Some protection from the fumes too, but not much.
Yeah.
You still get loopy if you get the right paint.
So the best thing you can do is hand wash. And you've heard that 100 times, hand wash, hand wash, hand wash, with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. It's going to break down any kind of virus or anything like that that's on your hands. It'll clean it off.
Brad, if you don't want to answer this, if it's sensitive information, has anybody with EMS or any first responders that you know of come down with this virus?
Not in Baton Rouge. We have not had a single case.
Wow, that's a relief.
We've had a couple of medics that were tested, but were negative. So, so far, so good.
That's good. And you know, we said at the beginning, please, if you're not in extremis, you know, and you think you have COVID, call your doctor first.
Right.
But now, I don't want everybody who has a health issue to think that they can't call 911.
Yeah, we absolutely are telling people to call 911 if you need us, if it's in a real emergency. If someone's unconscious, they're not breathing, they're bleeding heavily, you have an imminent birth, it's a bad car accident. Those are the kind of situations that you would need us to come out to. Now, if you just have, you know, I've been sick for 3 days and my head hurts and I want to go to the doctor, that's a doctor question.
No disrespect, but that's not an emergency.
Correct.
I'm sorry you're sick, but it's not an emergency.
Yeah.
But it kind of goes to the previous question. We were talking about, but that doesn't apply to me.
Yeah.
Because I actually saw a patient in the ER once that had a sunburn. And they were demanding to be seen right away because they had a sunburn.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
I saw a person once get a sunburn so bad they were delirious, and their body temp was going up. But
so that's the situation.
That was an extreme situation.
Yeah.
This one hadn't even gotten to the color of a medium rare steak yet. So, but when we talk about emergency response, and just to give people an idea of scale as to why Brad and other first responders say, don't call if you just think. Call when you know and it's an emergency. Right now, day shift, how many rigs do you have operating in East Baton Rouge Parish?
We have 14 ambulances in Baton Rouge, and that includes Zachary, Baker, and Central.
14?
Yeah, so if you have, 4 or 5 possible COVID patients calling us all at the same time, We've been trying to triage those calls, and we'll send a sprint unit out first just to make sure they're okay and they don't need an ambulance, and that's the whole reason that we're doing it. Also, too, like I had said before, once we respond on one of these calls, we have to disinfect our unit. So you might have 3 or 4 units sitting at the hospital that are available, but they need to be cleaned. So, if you're calling 911 and you say, well, I see 4 ambulances sitting over there, well, they're not ready yet.
Yeah.
Because we had to disinfect them and clean them out, air them out, and all that kind of stuff.
We don't want we don't want the rescue to be dangerous to you, so we have to clean it.
Correct. Yeah, you don't want us going there with a truck that has not been cleaned yet. So.
Well,
And sometimes those trucks, sometimes they get bloody.
They very much do, yes.
Well, and I think a lot of people don't understand that it's not just swoop and scoop.
Right.
That when you roll up to an ER with a patient that has had a bad fall, or has been in an accident, or is having a heart attack, that triage nurse and probably the doctor, they want you for 5 or 6 minutes to do a complete report on everything you've seen, everything
Correct.
you've done. They
Yes.
want your eyes and ears involved in the patient's care as well.
Correct. We're not just a taxi cab, like you said. We actually do medical care at the residence. Sometimes we can actually treat you at your house and then leave you there to where you don't have to go to the hospital. There's several instances of that. That's your diabetic calls, your asthmatic calls, things like that. We try to keep people out of the hospital as much as possible, especially now. And also, too, the hospitals are not allowing any visitors.
Yeah.
So we've had an instance where, the mom, the grandma, they all want to ride with us, and we have to tell them no. We've limited our transports to only one, visitor, you could say, or one person riding with the patient. And then once they get to the hospital is not even letting them in. So that's another, step that us and the hospital have taken.
Well, all in all, I know you hear this, you probably don't hear it enough, but we all appreciate everything that you all do.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you having me here and getting the message out.
And if we're fortunate enough to get this arranged in time, I think Kevin and I are going to be able to do our Facebook Live podcast from one of your
EMS stations.
From one of your EMS stations this coming Friday.
Yep, working on that.
We can't wait to do it. By the way, we have one more minute. What is the one thing you all see where people should have called you but didn't?
Chest pain calls, mostly it's the elderly. They say, well, I don't want to bother them, or, oh, it's just chest pain, it'll go away shortly. And then that's the ones that we end up going on later on that should have called us way sooner.
Stay alive, don't drive.
Yeah.
Exactly. We had a huge campaign about that a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Bill was part of the campaign.
Yeah.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, we had
because-
billboards and commercials about it. We definitely want you to call if you need us.
As my wife said when I said you need to call EMS, and she said, "Really?"
Yeah.
Because she said, "Do you want me to drive you to the hospital?" I said, "No, you better dial that 911."
Correct. Absolutely.
Well, don't mess around with your health, and please don't abuse the wonderful science and service that they provide, and not just here in Baton Rouge, but those of you in Lafayette with Acadian Ambulance as your first responders, and those of you in the North Shore, be very careful about using this precious resource. Use it when you need it, not just because you think you might want to look at something. We'll be back with more. Brad Harris, thank you so much for joining us. You're watching Exiles TV on the Pelican. We'll be back with Stephen Wagaspak of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Just a minute. Stick around.
It's just a minute. Just one.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Exiles TV returns. I'm Kevin Gallagher. He is Bill Profita. Let's talk about, with COVID-19, the coronavirus, the one thing that's been bothering me a lot is I've got a lot of friends in small business that aren't open. They're not operating. I've got friends in small business that maybe have a cafe or a restaurant. They're operating at diminished capacity, only takeout orders. And I worry about how they're going to fare, how the economy is going to fare through this crisis. We asked the president and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, Stephen Wagisback, to join us to talk a bit about that. How are you, Stephen?
I'm doing well. Thank you all for having me on. I appreciate it.
How deep is the concern at this point?
We got to be honest. I have enormous concern with what's going to be the economic ripple effect impact across Louisiana. There's no doubt we have to take significant, strong steps to protect our communities against COVID-19. We have to do that. But having said that, we also have to keep an eye open on what the ripple effect's going to be. And on the back end of this, once we get back to quote unquote normal, a month, 2 months, whatever it is from now, I'm tremendously worried about what's left standing on Main Street. Small businesses, retail, hospitality, restaurants, you know the places. Every local place you like to go to spend quality time or celebrate family occasions over the years, many of them are scrapping, struggling to stay afloat right now. Those businesses are the ones that operate with the tightest of margins in the business community. Yep. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that are burning through their capital right now, trying to do whatever they can to stay afloat. We're listening to them. We're talking to them every day. We're advocating on their behalf in Baton Rouge and D.C. We're going to do whatever it takes to help them survive, but it's a tall burden for a lot of them.
Yeah, I know that people are trying to do what they can, especially with the restaurants, to help them out by doing takeout orders and things, but so many of us are cut off from our income during this time.
That's right.
There's only so much we can do to help support our restaurant friends.
I mean, think about if you're a restaurant or you're retail. Think about it for a second. In a span of about 8 days, through government direction, and again, all for the right reasons, your customers were told they couldn't come in, the students were sent home, the festivals, events, and concerts were canceled. Mm-hmm. You were told you couldn't have people indoors, the rules changed this or that, and this happened over a couple of days' time. At the same time, Congress was passing laws saying you have to pay your employees a certain wage, sick leave, even though they're not working, dollars aren't coming in. Employers want to do all that, but if you're in a small business, tight margin business, it happened so fast that many of them are left scratching their heads. And so they're trying to evolve to take out. They're trying to push that. Many of them are getting into new ways to deliver their product. It's just hard to shift on the fly like that when you're dependent on customers coming into the door and those very customers are being told to stay home and don't interact with people. So it's a challenge. We're all in this together. But the Congress has passed legislation. We're all advocating along with the local officials on, order takeout, buy gift cards, things like that. But we have to go in eyes wide open. When we get through this health emergency, it is going to be the duty of all of us as customers. It's going to be the duty of the legislature and the governor to make it a day one mission when it's just done to rebuild small business from the ground up.
From what you've seen, is this multi-trillion-dollar incentive program, stimulus program, bailout, whatever you care to, is that going to be enough in the short term but not the long term, or is it not enough in the short term?
Well, so Congress has passed 3 different bills thus far dealing with this issue. The second and thirds are the ones that got the most, pub, I guess you'd say. The second bill basically said, listen, we're worried about those workers in small business. It guaranteed certain payment to them, sick leave and all that. Said employers, you got to cover it. The third one came in to basically give employers some of those proceeds to comply with that mandate. The third one's the one we're talking about, the CARES Act. It's a $2 trillion plus bill. The big piece for Louisiana is called the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, the 3P portion. It's $350 billion that is being sent to local banks and lenders across Louisiana. And with those dollars, small businesses, if you're under 500 employees, you can go in, you can make that application, you can get dollars to pay for your payroll, your rent, your utilities, your interest on your mortgage, things like that. You can pay those business expenses, and then it will turn into a grant and you won't have to pay back. So Congress put money into local banks and lenders and told them to give it to small businesses so that they can use it to keep their doors open, keep their employees paid. And if they do that, it'll convert to a grant they don't have to pay back. So of that $2 trillion plus dollars, I would say that $350 billion portion is a game changer for Louisiana. Right now, the banks have the mandate. They're waiting for the regulations to come out from the Department of Treasury. Our hope is that by the end of this week, Thursday, Friday, the banks and lenders are going to have the guidance they need from Treasury so they can safely give those dollars out to local businesses. And if it works, by next week, you'll have that infusion of cash into these small businesses, which will help them kind of take their head above water for the first time in weeks. So
they're dealing with this, at least in Washington, as if time is of the essence, because it really is for a lot of these businesses.
It absolutely is of the essence. If you're one of these larger companies, look, you're feeling the pinch too. You've seen some of those companies pull back capital projects. For instance, we saw Shell announce this week they were pulling out of an LNG huge project in southwest Louisiana.
Oh boy.
That's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. And so those companies are pulling back capital projects. But if you're a small business, you don't pull back capital projects. You don't pull back, PR expenses. You have to cut to the bone to make it work. And so this small business program, this 3P program, truly is a lifesaver for those small companies right now.
I am curious, does this bill have any relief for the big boys?
It does. It does. There's some larger loans in there for them. There's some investment into some of the hospitality industries as well, because when you cancel festivals and events and all that stuff, you've got everything from airlines to hotels to some of those large chains that get hurt. And as a taxpayer, no one likes to think about investing in stuff like that. But when you think about Louisiana, when you think about New Orleans, when you think about what is the bread and butter of our economy, we are a service-based economy.
Oh, yeah.
We make our money by servicing oil and gas, by servicing large events and festivals and hotels and restaurants. We are a hospitality and service-based economy. So the fact that Congress spent the last couple of weeks debating a bill that was going to inject capital into small business, service companies, and the hospitality industry, quite frankly, that bill was written for Louisiana in many, many ways. And I'll give kudos to our congressional delegation. We worked with them on this. We gave them feedback from what we're hearing on the ground. They were very receptive to a lot in there. They worked together as a team. There was no political partisan shenanigans going in between. They all kind of put on the same let's save Louisiana jersey. And it was a privilege to work with them the last couple of weeks. They did a great job.
This has been an equal opportunity destroyer. So I can understand why everybody gets on the same page.
There's no one in Louisiana not touched by this in a very significant way.
And, we're in it now. There's nothing we can do about that. But I want to know how we market our way back to purchasing things that we found out because of this that hey, we can do without. Like, I've gotten pretty darn good at ironing my own shirts again.
That is a nice job.
Instead of dropping them
You are
off.
looking dapper today.
Thank
I was
you.
going to know
But see,
this.
the dry cleaners are some of those small businesses
that's what
that
I'm
need our
talking
help.
about.
That's right.
Now, I'm
But
not
I can't.
gonna
I
do
can't
it.
drop off. I need to drop off shirts. My dry cleaner's not open.
Yeah, mine too. Marty's been giving me trouble about all these patterned shirts mooraying on television. Well, I sent a whole bunch of blue and white to the dry cleaner like 4 days before the shutdown, and they're locked up there. But I mean, we're going to find out. I mean, you've got people that are working in healthcare that are probably making a lot of overtime right now, which they richly deserve. They don't have anything they can spend it on outside that hospital, or gas, or groceries. I worry that our economy, as service-based, we're going to have a lot of people that are going to find out things and personnel they can't do without in Louisiana. And I want to know if our congressional delegation is looking at a phase 2 when that happens.
So there's a lot to unpack in that, but I'll give you a brief answer. One, the economy is a living, breathing entity. It always evolves. Whether it's COVID-19 or not, it's always evolving. If you go back to what made us tick in the 80s as compared to now, it's light years different. We're not as dependent to one oil and gas industry from that point in time. And so once again, we as customers, the small business community, will learn from this and have to evolve their product. Strip malls, retail, that front face of Main Street we're so used to, they've already been feeling the pressure of online shopping. This is kind of putting it on steroids. And so I expect that to evolve over the coming days, weeks, months, and years. If they have the capital to stay afloat, they're going to evolve. They're used to evolving. They will stay alive and find a way to meet customer demand. I have confidence in that. The second piece you brought up was congressional. Will there be another piece at Bite the Apple? Absolutely. We've been hearing that there's going to be a fourth bill, a phase 4 bill. Right now, our members of Congress are asking us what are some of the things that need to go into that. We expect Congress to come back in a couple weeks, so maybe 3-4 weeks away. Once we take a look at what does the world look like at that point, what are the biggest needs to get the economy jumping, what are the biggest needs for individuals to kind of have some relief there, I think Congress is ready for that phase 4 bill and looking for ideas on that.
We are talking with Stephen Wagesback. He is the president and CEO of Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. And we're talking about this $1 trillion, how many trillions is it?
2 and some change.
2 and change. Economic stimulus bill that
I can't even imagine that.
It has been signed, and money is going to start being distributed to small business, to large business. I understand the individual checks are going to be probably just about a week away, not too much further. But we also have to talk about what happens down the road for Louisiana, and I think that I personally enjoy talking about small business, but I think we got to look at the impact of the big boys and ask you to kind of tell us what they're thinking now, because I know they're communicating with you as well, and they have a lot of jobs and a lot of payroll. We'll continue. Stephen Wagesback of LABI, Kevin and Bill, and you on Exiles Television right after this brief break. Stay with us, please.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
Welcome back to Exiles TV for this Tuesday. How was that? Was that quick?
That was good. I didn't think you were going to make it.
I went out and grabbed a chili dog, made a couple phone calls, and made it back on the set with 2 seconds to spare.
The guest in the center, if you're just joining us, Stephen Wagisback is the president and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, LABI, and we've been talking about the small business help that will be available soon, within 2 weeks.
Yeah, so real briefly, the Department of Treasury regs we think will be coming out Wednesday or Thursday. That'll give the guidance the banks and lenders need to start putting the money on the street. So if you're a small business, contact your bank, your local lender. It's not just a bank. There are other entities like Cardinal Capital here in Baton Rouge and others who can do the same program. Reach out to them now, get in the pipeline. Perfect world, Friday, maybe Monday, checks will be written.
Now then, we have to talk about the big companies. We have mega companies in Louisiana that employ a lot of people. I heard a week or so ago that ExxonMobil in their Baton Rouge refinery, not the entire complex, was going to have staffing to continue operating, and they were kind of shifting that with their people to keep them all working. But we've got a lot of big business. What are they saying as far as their future? Are we hearing things like, if this goes on to this date, we're going to have a problem, or are they fairly stable for now, but their expansion plans may be on hold?
Yeah, so from larger business, we're hearing the same type of concern and nervousness that we're hearing from smaller business from a different perspective. So I mentioned the Shell piece earlier of pulling out of that facility. You're going to see a lot of those hold their capital right now, so not make big expenditure projects. And so whenever they do decide to put those capital dollars back on the market, whether it be 6 months from now or whatever, the question is, are they going to put it here, bring it to another state or whatever? We can talk a lot about what we've done in Louisiana to earn the trust and reputation to get those big capital projects here, and probably not the right interview for that, but we've got some ground to make up there. I will tell you of another big tranche of larger companies, and I'll use one as an example, Entergy. You know, it's one of the largest companies in Louisiana. Right now I'm on the phone with them almost daily, and what they're working on every single day right now is doing whatever they can to help small business recover. And it doesn't seem right. Why is a large company doing that? Well, that's their customers.
Yeah,
and so they want, and this is their community. And so literally, I'm on the phone with the CEO a couple of times a week, and all he wants to talk about is how can we help small business recover. So people forget that larger companies depend on customers and smaller businesses to partner with. A lot of those larger companies are reaching out to us and saying, how can we help small business survive?
Stephen, some people are of the opinion that the business environment, the taxation of business and business regulation in Louisiana has not been friendly for the past 4+ years. How do you see, things? Are things going to get better or worse on the back end of this health crisis?
You know, it has been a challenge the last couple of years. I mean, it's been well documented. We've all said this. The tax code's been changed a lot. The lawsuit climate has gotten worse. Companies big and small pay attention to that. And so, look, I think it provides a tremendous opportunity for the legislature, whenever they come back in session to legislate, whether it's May 1, June 1, special session, whenever they get back, they have a day one mission. The day one mission is to go right at some of these issues that have hurt our reputation in the past, and let's fix it quickly, because when we know that capital spigot's going to turn back on at some point. We know it will. When it does, we've got an opportunity to show the world, bring your dollars here, because we're going to go in maybe and fix some of these tax code issues or fix some of these lawsuit issues. If we do that quickly, and what I'm hearing from the new legislature is they want to come in when it's safe to do so and do big, bold things quickly to reattract that capital. And so if they can put their money where their mouth is, I think the larger business environment is going to do the exact same thing.
What are you hearing from healthcare? We have a very robust healthcare industry in Louisiana. We have some of the largest healthcare providers, with FMOL, that's the Our Lady of the Lake Group, and their owned hospitals all over, Oxner. They are going through hell right now, but they are also expending a lot of their capital to re-equip, to bring in millions of dollars worth of ventilators that they never thought they would need, that wouldn't have been part of anybody's budget. Their payroll is very, very high. There's a presidential order that they can't pay share on some things like the coronavirus testing and all that, so they're going to have to eat the whole enchilada on that. Are they saying, yeah, the wheels are turning now, but 6 months from now we may be in a bit of a spot?
Every time there's a tragedy in Louisiana, there's always after the fact, you look back, there's a couple of heroes that we look back on. If you remember the 16 floods, you had the Cajun Navy, you had the Celtic Media Center, you had things like that. People stepped up and really provide that. There's no doubt who's going to wear the hero cape when this thing's done. It's our healthcare community. They're literally day in, day out, putting their own health at risk, their family's health at risk. Just think about it. When you're a doctor or a nurse in a hospital right now, you come home, you strip down in your garage, you hose yourself down, you do all that to protect your children and your wife from catching it. This is what they do every single day.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's a huge challenge and cost to what they're doing. In that bill we just talked about in Congress, the $2 trillion plus some change bill, there was about $100 billion that was given to basically the Department of Health, HHS up there, with a lot of loose discretion. And our anticipation is those dollars will be used to help cover some of those unanticipated costs that we're seeing there.
For the hospital.
That's some of it, but also there's also going to be state and local grant money in there. We've heard the governor say that he thinks that that's about a $1.8 billion that the state's going to get to help account for some of these costs. Some of that will be healthcare costs. So there will be some dollars in the pipeline, either through the state direct appropriation or this $100 billion loose appropriation from the health department that hopefully will go to help the bottom line on those health providers here in the state.
The legislature is meeting today because of a deadline that they cannot avoid, and they will likely recess until the 13th again. Their social distancing and all that. Do you feel, as head of the largest business lobby in this state, that they have been learning some lessons about how important it is to support our business community during these last 30 days?
I think everyone is learning that. Everyone is learning that we are dependent on a growing, thriving business community. You can't function. You can't pay your mortgage. You can't have your kids in school if there aren't taxpayers around, and the business community provides that function. I will tell you that the new legislature, many of them are new, as we know. There are a lot of term-limited folks coming in. They haven't been in the Capitol before. This is their first experience, and they've really been punched in the face with adversity dealing with this.
Thrown into the lion's den.
Really, but the conversations we're having with them, I got to tell you, it's extremely impressive. Their hearts and heads are in the right place. They want to roll up their sleeves and get to work. This is uncharted waters. There's going to be mistakes made. This is going to be a tough grind to dig out, but I guarantee you, they want to get back to work as soon as it's safe to do so, and they want to do bold things. I think some of the boldest things that we've seen in that Capitol, so I'm excited for the potential, and we're going to work as hard as we can to make sure that potential turns into reality.
Well, we're still on about page 3 or 4 of the book, but I'm very glad to hear the things that you have said in your conversations with our congressional delegation and all that. It looks like this is not going to be another FEMA debacle where people are going to have to wait and watch everything fall down around them, that the money is on the way. And Stephen, we're going to make sure we keep in close touch with you and have you back on Exiles TV.
Fantastic.
Stephen Wagasback, President, CEO of LABI, the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. That's going to about wrap it up for us for this Tuesday edition. We will be back on Thursday. Tomorrow,
Clarence Buggs.
Tomorrow, Clarence Buggs, and also our podcast on Before Clarence. So have a good day. Stay safe out there, and please do as you're told for right now.